Choosing silence is one of the hardest decisions you will ever make. It feels heavy, lonely, and full of painful uncertainty. You might feel a constant pull to reach out, to explain your side one last time, or to check if they finally understand how deeply they hurt you. Holding on to that unreturned empathy only keeps you trapped in a cycle of self-doubt and emotional exhaustion. The truth is, your silence speaks a language that a narcissist fears more than any argument. When you stop giving them your energy, something drastic shifts inside their mind. You do not need to fight, plead, or prove your value to someone who chose not to respect you. Your detachment breaks their cycle of manipulation, turning your quiet distance into your ultimate protection and path back to yourself. This video is here to give you the answers, validation, and clarity you have been desperately searching for. By watching this video to the end, you will explore the hidden psychological phases they experience when you go completely quiet. You will gain a clear understanding of their mindset, release the emotional guilt you carry, and step confidently into your own strength, peace, and healing. If you are ready to reclaim your inner power, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss an update on your journey to healing. Initial phase. They are just playing games to get attention. When you suddenly stop texting, calling, or responding, a narcissist does not think you are hurting. They do not think you are setting a boundary or walking away for good. Their brain automatically assumes you are just throwing a temporary tantrum. They genuinely believe you will come back as soon as your emotions cool down. They truly believe you are staring at your phone, checking every minute to see if they noticed your absence. They think your quietness is a desperate move to get a reaction out of them. They tell themselves that you are just acting tough to make them chase you, because they cannot fathom anyone ever walking away. Because they rely on constant attention to feel important, they cannot wrap their head around the idea that someone would genuinely leave them. They convince themselves that your silence is just a dramatic ploy. They fully expect you to give up this silent phase in a few days and reach out like you always used to do. This arrogant assumption acts as a shield for their fragile ego. It prevents them from realizing that you are actually done with their disrespect and mind games. They feel entirely safe in their own little world, believing that your distance is nothing more than a short pause before you return to your usual patterns. They treat your silent stance like a small timeout in a game they still expect to win. They sit back patiently, waiting for you to break first. They believe time is on their side, and that your need for their approval will eventually override your pride, forcing you to break the quietness on your own. They expect a long paragraph explaining your pain, which gives them back total control over your emotions. They want you to lay out your feelings so they can pick them apart. In their mind, your explanation is the ultimate prize, confirming that they still hold all the cards and dominate your thoughts completely. When that expected message never arrives, their calm confidence starts to wobble, setting off a very subtle internal alarm that something is wrong. They notice the silence lasting longer than usual, and their initial amusement begins to turn into slight confusion. They wonder why their usual prediction about your behavior is completely failing this time. Their mind starts searching for reasons to explain your unexpected persistence without admitting they lost control. They reread old conversations to find clues, trying to figure out what went wrong with their calculation. The quiet space you created slowly begins to irritate them, cracking their false sense of absolute security and emotional dominance. Escalation phase. How dare they disrespect me? As days turn into weeks, without a single word from you, their arrogant story falls apart. The silence stops feeling like a game and starts feeling like direct defiance. They realize that you are not playing by their rules anymore, which completely disrupts their sense of entitlement and throws them into a state of sudden irritation. This triggers a sudden shift into pure hostility, often known as narcissistic rage. They stop waiting patiently and start feeling deeply offended by your refusal to engage. The calm mask drops instantly, replaced by a wave of intense bitterness that directed entirely at you for daring to ignore their presence and authority. Instead of asking themselves why you pulled away, they view your boundary as a personal attack on their character. They forget every rude thing they said and every lie they told you. They completely wipe their own bad behavior from memory, focusing only on the fact that you are withholding your attention from them. In their mind, you are the bad guy for cutting off their access to your time and energy without asking for their permission first. They feel entitled to your constant availability, so your sudden absence feels like an act of betrayal. They convince themselves that you are being cruel and unreasonable just to hurt them. They get furious because you broke the unwritten rule of the dynamic. You are supposed to stay available no matter how terribly they treat you. You disrupted the hierarchy where they sit at the top, and you follow along. Your refusal to play your assigned role makes them feel deeply insulted and stripped of power. To force you out of your quiet space, they start sending aggressive texts or making sudden demands. They blast your phone with angry messages, hoping to shock you into an immediate response. They try to provoke you into an argument, knowing that any reaction from you restores their control over the situation. They use insults or sharp accusations specifically designed to make you defend yourself. They attack your character, your loyalty, or your emotional stability, pressing every button they know hurts you. They do not want to fix things. They just want to break your composure so they can feel in total charge again. When those aggressive attacks fail to yield a single reply, their fury morphs into deep frustration. They realize that their anger no longer holds any weight over your life. This failure to provoke you leaves them feeling exposed and helpless, marking the moment they realize their usual intimidation tactics have lost power. Retaliation phase. Let us see who needs whom more. When direct insults fail to get a reaction out of you, a narcissist changes their strategy toward calculated revenge. They view human connections purely as power struggles, where someone must win and someone must lose. Since shouting did not work, they shift focus toward emotional manipulation to force you back into submission. Since they could not force you to speak, they decide to make you suffer by trying to make you jealous or regretful. They want to hurt your feelings from a distance, using passive actions instead of direct words. Their entire focus turns into a mission to prove that they are doing far better without you around. They quickly stage a fake display of extreme happiness for everyone else to see. They post extra photos on social media, hang out with new groups, or suddenly show off achievements they never cared about before. They craft an elaborate public image designed to look like they are thriving in every single area of life. Every single post is a targeted message designed for your eyes. Even if they claim not to care, every photo, status, or comment is crafted with you in mind. They want you to see them smiling, laughing, and moving on, hoping it will sting your heart and trigger a wave of sudden regret. They want you to think their life got instantly better the moment you stepped away. They try to create a narrative where you were the heavy burden holding them back from greatness. By showing off their superficial joy, they attempt to reverse the roles and make it seem like they discarded you first. This behavior is not genuine moving on. It is a desperate attempt to manipulate your emotions from a distance. Real healing happens quietly, but their display is loud and performative. They need an audience, specifically you, to validate their fake happiness, proving that their actions are entirely driven by their obsession with your reaction. They hope to trigger your fear of missing out, so you reach out first. They want you to break your own boundary out of panic, jealousy, or insecurity. They wait for you to type a message asking about their new life, which would immediately hand all your power right back into their waiting hands. By creating an artificial image of success, they try to trick your brain into thinking you made a huge mistake by choosing your own peace over their chaotic presence. But when you ignore the theatrical show completely, their performative happiness loses all meaning, leaving them performing for an empty room without the audience they needed. Panicked. Phase. Have they found someone else? When you completely ignore their public displays and stay quiet, their false confidence collapses into deep paranoia. A narcissist needs to know what you are feeling so they can predict your next move. When you go totally silent, you become an unreadable vault, and that lack of visibility terrifies them to their core. Their mind starts running through worst-case scenarios at full speed. They spend hours wondering what you are doing, who you are talking to, and why you are not bothered by their actions. The total lack of information drives them crazy, forcing them to confront a reality where they no longer know you. They wonder if you finally saw through their fake personality and exposed them to your friends. They fear that you shared the truth about their toxic behavior with people in your shared circle. The thought of their mask slipping in front of others creates intense panic, as their public reputation is everything to them. They start panicking about whether you met someone new who treats you with basic decency. They assume that if you are not chasing them, you must be giving that attention to someone else. Their possessive mindset cannot accept the idea that you might simply be peaceful, healthy, and happy on your own. This internal chaos exposes their biggest secret fear, the fear of being replaced and forgotten. They rely on past partners to keep carrying emotional torches for them forever. Realizing that you might have completely detached and moved forward damages their self-worth, making them feel disposable and easily replaced by better options. Without your emotional feedback, they feel completely blind and out of control. They are used to pulling strings and watching you jump, but now the strings are cut completely. This sudden loss of control creates a profound sense of internal instability, making them feel helpless in a situation they used to master. Your quiet space acts like a sharp mirror, reflecting their absolute powerlessness back at them. In the past, their words could instantly ruin your day or dictate your mood. Now, your complete lack of response highlights how small and insignificant their influence has actually become in your brand new, healthy life. The realization that they no longer occupy space in your head drives them crazy, forcing them to see that their hold over your life has officially expired. They are left alone with their unanswered thoughts, realizing that no matter what trick they try next, your mind is permanently closed to their toxic influence. Replacement phase. If they do not value me, someone else will. Once it becomes clear that you are never coming back, a narcissist cannot handle the quiet emptiness inside themselves. Sitting alone with their thoughts forces them to face their own internal toxicity. They cannot stand being without an external target to absorb their negative feelings, so they urgently look for an escape. To avoid feeling worthless, they immediately run away to find a quick distraction. They cannot process heartbreak, regret, or grief in a healthy way. Instead of reflecting on their mistakes, they rush to find a brand new source of attention to prove to themselves that they are still desirable, important, and in demand. They jump into new relationships, message exes, or look for praise from random strangers online. They cast a wide net to see who will bite first, needing immediate validation from anyone willing to give it. They fill their schedule with superficial interactions just to keep their minds off the fact that you walked away. They collect new people who do not know their history yet and will easily fall for their charming mask. These new targets have not seen their manipulative side yet, making them easy sources of praise. The narcissist uses this fresh audience to rebuild their shattered ego and pretend that nothing bad ever happened. This fast transition has nothing to do with real love or finding a better match than you. It is purely a coping mechanism to avoid facing their own flaws. They are not happier with the new person. They are simply using them as a human shield to protect themselves from feeling the pain of your rejection. It is a compulsive habit to replace the energy supply you used to provide. They need external praise, the same way an engine needs fuel to keep running. When your supply cut off, their system started failing, forcing them to find a replacement fuel source as quickly as humanly possible. They do not view people as human beings with real feelings. They view them like objects that fill a specific job. To them, partners are completely interchangeable parts in a machine. They treat the new person with the exact same idealization scripts they once used on you, repeating a hollow cycle. Ultimate realization: I have lost all power. The final mental stage for a narcissist is the harsh acceptance that you are truly gone forever. When every trick, insult, and distraction fails to bring you back, their illusion of authority breaks down completely. They are forced to accept that their control over your life has officially come to a permanent end. They realize you did not stay silent out of petty anger, but out of total indifference. Anger would mean you still care enough to be upset, and sadness would mean you still miss them. But your total silence proves that you have crossed over into a space where their existence simply does not matter anymore. Indifference is the ultimate boundary because it proves you no longer care enough to fight, argue, or explain yourself. You stop caring about setting the record straight or getting an apology. You realize that trying to reason with them is a waste of time, so you completely withdraw your participation from their dynamic. You have removed them from your mind entirely, closing off every pathway they used to access your life. You no longer check their updates, ask mutual friends about them, or replay past arguments in your head. They have become a complete stranger whose actions no longer hold any power to influence your daily mood. This realization hurts their ego far more than any harsh words ever could, because it strips away their ability to affect your mood. They realize that they can no longer make you angry, sad, or anxious. Knowing that they are completely powerless to trigger an emotional response from you is their absolute nightmare. By keeping your mouth shut and your distance clear, you take back every bit of power you accidentally gave away. You stop pouring your precious energy into a black hole that only brought you distress. You choose yourself over their endless drama, reclaiming your mental peace and emotional stability once and for all. You have carried the weight of emotional confusion for long enough. Choosing silence is not an act of weakness, nor is it a game. It is the ultimate declaration of your self-worth and boundary. You deserve a life filled with peace, authentic respect, and emotional safety. Trust your decision to step away. Honor your inner strength, and remember that your peace is worth protecting at all costs. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end. If this content provided you with clarity and strength, please press the like button and subscribe to the channel to support future content. Your journey toward healing matters, and you are never alone.